Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bri and welcome to my channel. If you are tuning in for the first time, you have no idea who I am. Hello, my name is Bri. I am a professional actor, singer, dancer, now based out of Orlando, Florida. And basically my channel talks about all things me, which include acting, theater, Disney, life in Orlando, life as a professional actor. Today, as you can tell by the title of this video, I am going to be talking about some of my biggest audition pet peeves. I'm missing the feeling of auditioning live and being face-to-face with people, so I'm gonna reminisce on my times as an auditioning actor and talk about some of the things that drive me nuts. Maybe some of the things that I don't miss as much about auditions. With disclaimer, these pet peeves have nothing to do with the creative teams or anything having to do with them setting up their auditions. They can do whatever they want at their auditions, so I have no room to complain. These are merely pet peeves focused on the things I see at auditions or the types of people at auditions, or a lot of times what happens in the holding room that the casting team does not see. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. It helps me out so much. And also make sure to like, comment, tell your friends about this channel. We'll work on that YouTube algorithm, stuff like that. But without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I made a little question thing on my Instagram asking all of my actor friends to list some of their biggest pet peeves at auditions to kind of get some inspiration and see what else other people have said to see if they match up with some of mine. So I will be telling you some of the things people said in that poll throughout this video. So my first pet peeve is not being prepared. Now, I mean, auditioning, I think if you're a professional actor, you know you need to be prepared at auditions, but you'd be surprised how many times people come up to me at auditions or talking to other people at the auditions or the monitor or whatever they're just basically not prepared, and they're either asking what they need to prepare, they didn't bring their whole book, so maybe what they thought they had to prepare isn't actually what they need, so now they're like, I don't have any of their songs, what am I gonna do? And it's just like, it like baffles me sometimes because I'm like, how do you not bring your whole book to an audition? Two, like, just read the audition notice and like it would tell you everything you need to know. So I just like don't fully understand sometimes. Like, also I feel like sometimes people just don't prepare as much as they should. So then when things happen like unexpectedly, which is very common at auditions, like they're not prepared to like think on their feet and change up what maybe they had originally set in mind. So like in New York, a lot of times like there's so many people in the calls, so a lot of times the creative team will come in and be like, hey, thanks for coming everyone. We know we originally said 16 or 32 bars, but we're actually cutting it down to 8 bars. And then they're like, all right, next group, come on in. And you just have to like literally trim your song real quick or pick a new song that has a better 8-bar cut. And I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me. So I think it's just really important to not only read the audition notice and prepare what they ask you to prepare, but also just expect the unexpected, basically. If they ask for one song, always have another song handy or 2 songs, depending, that are contrasting or similar to your other song that you're preparing, and just kind of be ready. Be ready for any situation. You never know what they're gonna want to hear, and you never know, maybe they have you in mind for something else that's completely different from what you're auditioning for, and you need a completely different song that you can just pull out and show them, because you never know what they're really gonna be casting for. My next pet peeve is passive aggressive bragging. So what this means, a lot of times in the holding rooms, you know, everyone's chit-chatting and, you know, being social, and you just overhear so much bragging of themselves, but it's never like outwardly bragging. It's just like basically turns into them listing off their resume and just with every connection they have, and it's just like an intimidation thing, and it's really annoying to be honest. It's so annoying because I'm like, we're literally all here for the same thing. Like we're all gonna probably sing different songs. Like it doesn't matter who you know or where you've been or what you just did. Like we're all gonna get to audition, so it's like literally doesn't matter. I'm gonna give an example of like what this means. Like someone could be sitting down and like chit-chatting and they'll be like, Oh yeah, you're singing that song? Oh yeah, I've seen that song on my time as a production vocalist on so-and-so cruise line, and yeah, it was just so much fun. Oh yeah, I just got back from that. It was such a great 9 months. Like, it was so cool because I did that like right after I did this other contract with these other people. They actually know the casting directors. Like, that's pretty cool too. Like, it's, you think it doesn't happen, it literally happens all the time, especially in New York. Orlando, not so much, but like New York, oh yeah, I heard it all the freaking time. I don't personally like to talk to anyone during auditions. I'm like the girl that sits in the corner like with headphones in and doesn't say a word until I go and audition, and that's just me. So I don't really participate in like the chit chat nonsense of auditions. So if you see me at auditions, like, don't be offended. I will for sure like say hi to friends, but like after I say hi, I'm like, hey, headphones back in, like I'm focused and like going over my song. So like, but I do love to eavesdrop and listen to other conversations, which is where I'm hearing a lot of these things, and I've been able to write them down. My third pet peeve is constant negativity. I think with auditions and the constant like rejection that comes with the industry, it's very easy to get very negative. And it's not saying that people are negative like about the shows that they're auditioning for or about like other people. It's like, oh, they're running behind. Oh, they always freaking run behind. Like, I'm probably not even gonna book this. It's gonna be a waste of my time. Like, it's that type of energy that just like brings the room down, and it can like bring other people down. So it's like, definitely like don't fall into that negativity. And like, just because you haven't booked something in however long, or you've been to this many auditions this week, or you got up at the crack of dawn, like, there is no reason to be negative at an audition. You need to stay positive, be able to evaluate yourself, be able to know what you did well and know what you need to improve on, and like just move on from there. So this one is intimidating other people, which someone on Instagram also said something like this, so I will give theirs as an example. But intimidation is like, I mean, it's a choice of a way to get into people's head. I used to do this in high school a lot. I'm like guilty of doing this, that when I was in high school, if there was like a dance call, and I'm by no means like a dancer, like I can dance, I'm a good dancer, but in high school like was not that good, but I was flexible. So that was like my one thing, that when we would have a dance call, and granted a high school dance call is like not hard, like there's not a lot of like really hard skill that needs to go into it, but I would stretch in the hallway and like pull my leg to my face to intimidate other people, which sounds really awful now, and I like feel so bad for doing it, but it worked. Like, it definitely intimidated people. Not that it got me any roles like necessarily or like had anything to do with that, but it does get into people's heads. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but it still happens to this day in a professional audition. And what someone said on Instagram was, they said their pet peeve was people who stretch like it's a Rockettes audition at a singer's call, which is true. Like, people will literally like stretch like crazy, like foot to head, and like start busting out all these things in the holding room to show them like warming up, but it's really them just showing off. Like, girl, it's a movers call. Like, we're gonna do some step touches and a pivot step. Like, it's not necessary. And that also goes with like the bragging thing. It's also like an intimidation thing. So it's like a double whammy. Just don't do it. Number 5, fifth audition pet peeve, is bothering other auditioners. Now this hits me hard. Because like I said, I am not the type of person that wants to chit chat with others in the holding room. I'm kind of like in the corner by myself. I just want to focus on my song. And not that this is intended to be bothering, but when people want to come up and talk to me or just have a conversation, because, you know, people like to talk when they're nervous sometimes, like, I'm just not about it. So that's why I usually have headphones in, so people know like not to talk to me. But so it's just kind of like read the room. Like, if you see a group of people like chit-chatting it up, like, yes, join that circle, add to the chit-chat circle. But if you see someone just sitting by themselves, like, maybe don't strike up a conversation, because it's probably intentional and they probably just want to focus, get in and get out. This I see more in Orlando, that people bothering other auditioners just because people are more friendly and people, you know, maybe it's their first time auditioning for this company and they're like kind of nervous, or they're new into the industry and they don't really know like the code of conduct. I don't know, like they're just not aware. So I don't think it's intentional necessarily, but it's just a good tip to have to like read the room, I guess. Next, pet peeve number 6, the people that always want feedback. I saw this a lot in college because your directors, whatever, a lot of times your professors as well, so you see them on a regular basis. A lot of times they'll go up to them after class or whatever and ask them for feedback on their auditions, like that they just had for the musical, the play, whatever it is. And again, not that feedback is a bad thing. I just think that you should be able to give yourself your own feedback of being able to, right after you do your audition, thinking about, okay, how did that go? How did that feel? How did it sound? What could I have done better? Was this the best song choice type of deal? And add those things into why you did or did not get the role or the show or whatever you're doing. Because in the professional, they're really not gonna give you feedback ever unless you're at like an industry showcase. Those are really great areas and things to do for feedback, where some companies will invite you to their showcase, or you can pay to do different showcases in front of agents and casting directors or different entertainment companies. So if you're the person that likes feedback, like definitely look into those types of things. I did an industry showcase like last fall where I got to audition for like 6 or 7 different casting companies or agents and stuff like that, and they gave me written feedback like a couple days later on my outfit, my song choice, my acting, my dance ability, like all that type of stuff. So I got to hear from them, people that are actually casting legit things right now. Well, not right now, but back then. This is my 7th and final pet peeve of mine. Thinking certain jobs are below your talent. I see this a lot in New York. I also see it in Orlando. Now, let me start this off that the entertainment industry is very broad. I think, especially when people or maybe originally they think, oh, like the goal is always Broadway, but not true. You can do Broadway, you can do TV film, you can do family entertainment, you can do commercials, you can do so many different things. So to think that a certain type of entertainment or a certain type of job is below your talent level, I think is one, rude to those performers that do that type of entertainment and like strive in that type of entertainment and like love it. And it's also like, it's just cocky and I'm not a fan of it. So for example, I focus in the family entertainment industry mostly, which includes theme parks, cruise ships, different like family experiential theater, which is becoming very new. Anything that involves kids and families is basically what I like to focus in. And a lot of times people think of theme park work or different stuff in that area as being kind of below them. I've noticed in New York because they either refuse to audition for it, they don't want to go in for those companies, or they just think because they've done this type of contract before or some other contract that they're suddenly at a new hierarchy. And it just kind of like hurts my feelings a bit. I mean, I'm fine, like literally fine. I think theme park work is great, and I think you can literally make a living doing theme park work, and it takes a really hardworking performer to be able to do that day in and day out. So for someone to think that like you're anything below them or that they are too talented to do that is just really cocky and rude. So that just kind of like irks me a little bit when I hear people like only going in for union work when they're non-union, thinking non-union work is like below them. And I'm like, how do you expect to like start in the industry if you don't start with non-union work and build up your resume and then work your way up to union work? But that's a whole different thing. One of the pet peeves that someone responded to on my Instagram is very New York, very, it says, people that wake up at 2 a.m. to get in line and create the cycle of people. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, in New York, the audition buildings open up at like 7 a.m. or like something like that. But what happens is people will get there before that time to try and be the first in line, so that when, especially when you're non-union, to be the first one in the building so they can be the first one on the list and the first one to audition, essentially, so they can get in and get out and get to another audition. Now, in the middle of audition season, it's getting crazy. People are like getting more and more hungry for jobs. So if there's a huge audition coming up or something everyone wants to audition for, people will literally stand out in line at 2 o'clock in the morning and wait for hours in the freezing cold just to be the first in line. And because there's different sites like Audition Update that which is like an online forum that people can post onto to give updates on the auditions or where they are in line, or what the creative teams are doing. People see that people are standing out at 2 a.m. and it starts a whole new cycle of people saying, oh, I'm gonna do that next time. So then people get there even earlier, and then people like myself who were commuting into the city and couldn't get there at 2 a.m. were getting there at like 7 or 8 when the audition buildings open, and then we're number 376 in line when the building just opened. So it gets very frustrating for people that are still playing by the rules and are doing nothing wrong, but then you have people that just take things to a huge extreme where it's not necessary. That like you could literally have gotten there at 6:30 and still have been number 1 in line if the people didn't start lining up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, that's really annoying. That's really only New York specific. It doesn't really happen in Orlando. And this has nothing to do with any of the entertainment companies. It's their auditions. They can do literally whatever they want. And for the most part, I think they do a really great job of running really great auditions and making things run smoothly and getting through things quickly and not wasting our time. But that's more just on the people I see at auditions. Those are my audition pet peeves. If you like what you see today, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share to my channel. And you can follow me on Instagram at bgraf100 or on TikTok at the same name, bgraf100, which is where I post most of my content, so you can keep up to date with my life there. But thank you so much for watching, everyone. Make sure to stay tuned, and I will see you all next time. Bye!